All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We are here, this CBSI comicbookinvest.com. This is a comic creator chat. We're getting to talk to some of the Skybound guys and what they're doing. The first guys we get to talk to are the masterminds behind Excellence, which is a book that I reread the other day. And yes, it's Excellence. It's an amazing book. I'm so excited to get to talk to you guys about it. So, and this is Brandon Thomas and Khary Randolph. And I did say Khary right? Khary like Atari?
Bro,
yes.
You got it right. Listen, yes. It's a struggle, but I thank you.
Yes. Well, it helped. I got to interview Khary Andrews back, a couple months, probably 2 or 3 months ago. So learning from hearing him say it, okay, I'm going to learn this. And then you have the great Twitter handle with the Khary like Atari. So
there's a reason for that. That's especially funny because I have worked with the first comic book I ever did was with Khary Andrews. So wow. You can imagine those signings were something special. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at least they're spelled different.
Khary and Khary both spelled completely different ways.
And they don't. Neither of yours make quite sense. I'm like, there's an extra A in his, and then you have an H in yours. I'm just like, okay, I know it makes sense to you because you grew up with it. I mean, just like Chris can be spelled with K and no H. So, yeah. So this is comicbookinvest.com, guys. I know you had this big comic book expo thing you guys started on Friday, and you announced something huge. What was this thing that we're talking about that you guys get to announce?
Well, Excellence is heading to Kickstarter. Actually, I think tomorrow. Actually,
I believe. Yeah,
we are going to do a deluxe edition for Excellence. It's going to be the first 9 issues. It's going to be packed with behind-the-scenes material, the original script for the first issue, a bunch of Khary and Emilio's awesome character designs, and kind of some of the color tests we were doing at the beginning before we started the book. So it's basically going to be the first 9 issues in a great, oversized hardcover, amazing new cover by Khary, and we're super excited. We're super excited to bring the book potentially to even more people, and we're very proud of it, and we're excited to get it out there even more.
So I do have to say, from reading the cover of your book, because I'm a collector, I have it.
Yeah, I saw it.
There you go.
I have a graded copy also. But when I first looked at the cover, and I remember I had grabbed it, and I was like, okay, I was doing an interview of John Arcudi, and we were talking, and he was like, let's talk about Black creators. So I was like, dude, I like Khary. I'm going to go find some of his books. So I was like, I got one of your books here. And I was like, oh, yeah, wait, I hadn't read it yet. And I was like, oh, it's about ninjas and kung fu fighting. And, no. These are not bow sticks they're fighting with here. These are magic wands. But I didn't realize that until I read the book after buying it, because I was like, okay, I'm going to use this and show it in the interview. But I do have to say, though, that first issue, first off, being thrown off, that's not a kung fu book, because it reminds me of Immortal Iron Fist, David Aja.
There is a lot of cool fighting in the book.
Oh, there is. I'm not saying there's not, but it's not.
Okay.
Everyone was kung fu fighting was not the theme of the book.
Right.
You throw a little Harry Potter in there, and then you start to get it. But man, the first issue took me a while to get into. But man, when I read the trade, hell yeah, that book's good. I read your 6th issue. I feel like you guys, it was a book destined to be read as a trade.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's hard to get across to people. I know that would probably hurt when I saw some of your, I don't know. Tell me, I guess, talk about it. Just talk about the story.
I'll say, I think it's a book that works very well in installments, but I also do feel like it's a book that you have to read more than one time to really understand what we're doing. So that's what I mean by it's made for the trade, in the sense that we want every issue still ends with a bang, with a dope cliffhanger. We love monthly comics, but there's also an element to Excellence that is multi-layered. And just as you said, if you wanted to come in and be like, yo, I love fight scenes and cool ninjas and all that stuff, we have that for you.
Yeah.
But also, when you dive into it more, you see, it's about a lot more than that. And I feel like some of that stuff, there are a lot of things you won't even catch until the second or the third reading, or as a whole.
So now you're gonna make me. I'm gonna have to do the Kickstarter, which I plan on doing anyways, to reread it again. Like I read it just the other night because I'm like, hey, I'm talking to these guys. I better make sure I know the gist of the story. And I realized there's so many layers to the story that you're talking about because the first book or first two books or comics, I guess, not books. It's a father-son story but then it becomes so much more by the end of issue 2. Like it was like, oh, father-son, okay, he just wants to please daddy. That's all it is. And like, no, that's not. Well, I mean, yes, that is, but no, that's not.
Yes, yeah.
It's all of that.
Yeah. It's definitely the most challenging thing I've done, both because of how personal it is. Fortunately and unfortunately, the relationship between Spencer and his father, Raymond, is very, very much my relationship with my father, minus the magic, of course. But, it's just something that we wanted to make the book multi-layered. We wanted different audiences to be able to get different things from the book, but still enjoy it. So you can enjoy it on, the level that Carter's talking about. You can enjoy like the fights, the action sequences, the cloaks, the kind of frantic, intense nature that the story is being told at. But when you dive in deeper, it's like, oh, wow, this is about, like generational pain and generational trauma and loss and regret and the kind of the corrosive. For me, a big theme of excellence and in me has been kind of like the corrosive power of anger, and how do you harness anger and pain and frustration in a productive way and not just, essentially kind of dissolve yourself with it. And that is a journey that Spencer is definitely on, and that I have been on at many times in life, and I'm kind of still on. It's one of those. Excellence is kind of like a story that it's still in progress, right? It's like the relationship that it serves as one of the underpinnings of the book is still not where I want it to be. Like my relationship with my dad is not where I want it to be, or in what I would consider like the healthiest place. So it still feels like something that's ongoing, like it's not over yet. And I think that you can really feel that in the book.
And to add to that, I feel like if there's one thing that I personally appreciate about the book is that every time someone thinks they've figured out what this book is about, we'll flip it on its head. I mean, there's things happen every time I get a script. I'm like, oh wait, hold up. That's where we're going now? Like, literally, there's some things that I'm drawing at the moment that, like, you might think you know what this book is about right now, and we're completely changing it into another thing. Or you think you know who the bad guys are? Wait, hold up. Hold my beer real quick, because watch this.
Issue 7, you like dropped all these bad guys in, and then like, which ones are the bad guys? I'm like, what the heck?
Or are they really bad guys? I mean, there's lots of things going on, and I think you like to keep the readers on their toes, and I mean, look, I sound like I'm bragging right now, but when I'm sitting here like, damn, this is a crazy book, I feel like that is a good sign, because if I'm impressed, then that means I think you guys will be impressed.
Because Khary is the first audience for the book, right? So there are things that are coming up in the book that I deliberately keep from him, because I'm I don't want him to know this yet. Like, I want him to read the script and be like, what? What are we
he be hiding shit all the time. He don't tell me nothing.
So man, because like there's several big whoa moments, like. But of course, issue 6. But like when you pick up issue 7 and you read it, and you're like, "Wait a minute! Now there's this freaking secret agent after him. Where did he come from?" And then, oh wait a minute, is he good? Is he bad? Is he? Is he? And I did that for like each one of the issues, going, "Is he good? I can't figure out which one," and which I love, and I love that. And then you have the subtle behind the scenes. I don't want to reveal the cameos, that there maybe are cameos of people that you drew in that I'm like, I'm just like, that's awesome. Yeah. And whoa, wait a minute, where's this book going? I love where it's going, but at the same time, is it going there? Because you don't want to reveal. I love that So
Thank you. You talked about the scene that we'll probably be talking about in our letters page until we're done with the book.
I'm sure, yes.
We got a lot of letters about that particular scene, and there was a lot of discussion about that internally about whether like how kind of how overt we were going to make it, and after a while it was just like, this is stupid, just put the because at first it was kind of just the hat, and then it was it was kind of like the hat and the outfit, and then it was just like, this is stupid, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is.
We have a lot of discussions about, like, should we go there? Is this book really gonna go? Like, sometimes we literally have like, is this book too black? And then we're like, what are we talking about right now? Like, why would we've already made it a point. This is what the book is. Just go there already.
But reading the first 6 issues, I never got the impression that it not too black or anything like that, but like, it was about a black family and the structures of the excellence, and it never went into the racial side of things.
I'm not even sure if we mentioned the term black at all in the first couple issues.
No, the only thing one of our kind of those kind of infographic pages there, I think there's an infographic maybe in issue 2 that basically shows you like all of the different kind of like chosen people that the Aegis is protecting, and like all of them it's primarily white and primarily male, and then I think there's like 2 little like female heads on the poster, and then like 1 like kind of brown faced person. So that was just, I wanted to kind of come up with like subtle ways of kind of delivering that information without actually having it verbalized like out of a character's mouth. So like when we designed that poster, it was kind of like, I think when we started, they were like, maybe there should be 3 black faces. And then like, no, maybe 2, 3 is too many. And so there was a lot of discussion about how we could reflect this obvious like disparity in kind of how their powers are being wielded, and it really touches on everything that happens in those later issues. A lot of it comes back. So that poster, this idea that these magicians do protect black and brown people occasionally, but what are the conditions under which that is allowed, and has that always been the case without giving too much away?
I went back to, after reading, I guess I can't remember if I stopped at 9 or 10. So like, I don't know if I.
Well, 10 just came out last week. I mean, I've barely seen 10.
So, but it was one of those, after realizing like, oh wait, I'm disrupting the system, and why are we only helping? And I think you finally come out and say only white people or something along those lines, and it comes out a little more dramatic. I was like, whoa, okay. I went back and read issue 1. I was like, oh, his first assignment was to help some blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid propose. I'm like, what the hell?
It's there in that first issue, because when I was working on that, I'm like, what is the most ridiculous and inconsequential, like decision that, Spencer has to help this white man make? He has to help a white dude get up the courage to propose to his girlfriend. And it's like, why is that important? But to me, it always felt like that whenever you deal with these kind of like magical Negro stories, like your Bagger Vance, not to pick on Bagger Vance, even though I love picking on it. Because
Brandon, you love to pick on Bagger Vance.
An abomination.
He's acting like he doesn't. He picks on Bagger Vance all the time.
You just completely changed my perspective on the comic and Bagger Vance.
And it's just like, it's always like, he's here to help this white man find himself or have courage. And it's like, what? That's it? It's like, this brother has like magical powers and all of this like secret impossible knowledge, and he's just helping this white dude like have a better golf game. Like, what is this? Like, so that's kind of what that was in the first issue, where I was just thinking like, what is the most inconsequential thing that he could be like assigned? It's like, help him propose. That's very important, isn't it? So it's all there. We just didn't really call all of the attention to it intentionally.
Yeah,
we like to slide the knife in.
We never wanted to like preach this kind of stuff with you. Like, it's important to like not hit you over the head with like message. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not fun for anybody. But as I said, it's like once you go back and reread it after knowing what you know now, it's like, oh, this book is a completely different thing that it might be obvious to you, or you might this is not what I was expecting it to be. You know, like I think that's the fun part of creating these types of worlds is that like you come into it thinking it's one thing and it's something completely different. And then it's something completely different again and again and again. And that's
it's like excellence is a conversation between us, the guys that are making it, but it's also a conversation with the reader, which is why we have made it, we've tried to make our letters page like a really vital part of the book and a part of the narrative, when we're answering questions and defending certain decisions. And so we just want to make sure that the book is, I just have this thing where every single page of this book is being used to tell the story, like whether it appears that way or not. Like that's the way that we approach it. And we just want to give a really kind of deep and layered experience to people that are after that.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm looking at, of course, we're a collector site, and so we looked at like floppies are usually more. Though I love trades and hardbacks and hardcovers and everything like that. When I look at your book, we look at sales and we go, hey, okay, issues 5, issue 6, y'all's numbers were getting at that little. Are we going to continue this book, or did you always know? And I don't know the numbers for 7, 8, 9, so I have no clue. I know when your book, and that's why I say a trade. When the trade was released, I feel like you would have picked up people that went, oh, I understand this a lot more because issue 1 was the one thing, issue 2 added to the story, but then issue 3 blew the doors wide off of what the heck the book started off being. But with the way sales go, stores don't order issue 3 if issue 1 doesn't sell as well as it's supposed to, or if issue 2 doesn't sell. So did you guys know that we're getting through the trade and then we're going to see how it goes, or do you have 20 issues planned and you're going to do it? You're going to plow through and do it. I think you should. I love it. I want to read them all, but
I have. I'm not going to tell you the number, but there is a number. I have one. What?
I said there's a definitive ending.
There is a definitive ending. I have one more script of excellence to write.
Okay.
So I'm essentially done with this. I go back and. Before Khary sees them, that's kind of like the last edit. Until they have to go to Khary, then I'm always in the background, like, let me do another dialogue take on this scene. I don't like this anymore. I did this 3 months ago. I'm so much better now. I can do a better job. But it is definitely a finite story, and there is an end. There is an end point coming that is not super far in the future, but not right around the corner. Let's just say.
Will the time jumps keep happening? Because I do get a little lost sometimes, going age 19, age 16, age 18, age.
At this point where we are now, we're at issue 10. I feel like the time jumps are a little less frequent. They're I won't say anything else. The time jumps will be less frequent.
There are still time jumps.
Yeah,
but less frequent.
Okay. I was just because that was hard. At certain spots, I'm like, okay, this part of the story, when did he have this conversation with his mom versus when he didn't have it? And like, if you didn't catch the little bubble in the corner, because I mean, a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid doesn't change a whole lot of how he looks.
Right.
I mean, and you drew it that way. So I'm like, okay, I can't, if you didn't put the little age 16, I wouldn't have known.
I think I think you're talking about 10. Like issue 10 had had basically like the end part of a scene that we started in 7 and pretended was over. We pretended like the kind of confrontation between him and his mother was over, but we just cut out of it, and the plan was always to go back to it. But going forward, it'll be a little less, a little less jumping around, because things will be happening, and it'll just be full steam ahead. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming. There's a lot of cool stuff.
I mean,
we're excited.
I definitely got excited as I finished reading. Like I was like, oh, okay. I want to get in the hardcover when it goes live tomorrow. I want to get it because of it made sense. Issue 9 it was a decent spot to end it. Issue 6 was, but the guy you introduced in issue 7 sold me so much. I'm like, I like him.
Daquan Hill.
Yes,
I love
Daquan Hill. It's partially based on. I don't know if there are any Dexter fans.
Oh wow, yes.
In the audience, so you probably know what character exactly. One of my favorite characters of all time, and I'm like, oh, we have to have a guy like that, and like we should make him like internal affairs, and he just shows up and just completely just fucks up everything Spencer is doing or thinks he's doing. And it's been great. And his kind of like his associates, the Hillman, that actually came from Khary found a design. You found what was it like? They were like leather cowboys.
They were African heavy metal like cowboys.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, Brandon, are you seeing this? Like, we need characters like this.
and I said, of course. Like, I got you. So then, I knew Daquan was coming, and so like, yeah, these are the characters. And that has actually happened a couple of times. There are gonna be a couple more kind of villains coming that are based on like really cool designs that Khary will send me and be like, oh, I want to draw something like this. And I'm like, let's do that. So I have no problems with that. So
I have to say Daquan's probably my favorite character. I love she's only been semi in it. Monique, I think.
Monique
is actually my favorite character in the entire book.
Yes.
And is she the cover on the B cover of 5? Is that Monique?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The cool one with the wolves, cover. Right? Yeah, it is. I think that's my favorite cover.
Well, 9's pretty good too. Taurine Clark's cover.
Yes.
Which is also her. So basically, it's anytime we have Monique on a cover,
artists really like Monique as well.
yeah, they do.
But that, like from a collector, like I've after reading them, I'm like, damn, I'm talking to these guys. I better go see where your books are out there. Some of your books of this series are hard to find. Some of it because issue 7, because you got the cameos that people know that are in there. That book is hard to find. But the B covers, I love. How did you go about choosing the artists for the B covers? So, Khary, I love your style, but it is so always nice to see a new artist brought in or someone else.
No, listen, I am probably the biggest fan of the B covers, and like we really did. We created a giant list of Black creators that we said these are the guys that we want to highlight and bring into our world. And then we all kind of sat down and said, let's see if we can get this guy, that guy, and kind of just went from there. Like these are all people that we're fans of.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw Sanford did issue 2, and then I know Taurine Clark was 9. Because he's a guy who's just now having more and more covers. When you guys got him.
No, we had him first before he became like exclusive Marvel, cover artist. And I'm like, oh, he's doing Miles Morales covers. That's so great. But yeah, it was really cool because I got introduced to people that I didn't know. Like I didn't know about Taurine when we started, and I feel like I've encountered and met like a bunch of different amazing artists that weren't even on my list. Like we all had slightly different lists. Like there were, I think Sanford was probably on everybody's list, but I think there, we put lists together, and there were certain ones that everyone had on their list, but there were others like, oh, I've never heard of Juni Ba. And he did he did the great like family tree cover for us on issue 3. It was 3. And 3
had the same style of everything else was the same. So that is a different artist.
Yeah.
It feels.
I'm trying to remember because we've had so many covers and
like this is where I would throw them up.
Juni's was 3. And there is actually a big clue about the future of the book on that cover. Like if you look really closely at the family tree, there is something a little extra there that we haven't really commented. There's a branch. There's a branch of the tree that it's like, oh, that's weird. So there will be something coming up very, very soon that deals with that. So we try to do things like that, try to put little clues. We had Spencer's mother on the cover of 4. That's the Johnny Christmas cover with, the cool, like her hiding the wand behind her back, like that kind of, that image, that sentiment is also, that's going to be a big thing down the road. So there are like little like clues and stuff that we were able to, work into the variant. So
now you're sending me down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna have to look up and get all the covers and track them down because I want to see
the little first appearances of everybody.
Oh yeah,
this is why we have the Kickstarter, man. Because I feel like honestly, we put so much into this book that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on unless you have it all laid out in front of you.
Right. Yeah. And all of the variants will be in the back of the Kickstarter. So we are going to have a gallery of every single cover that the book has ever had. So all of Khary's great covers and all of our guest artists too. So
because you had one store exclusive, the One Stop Shop had
Emilio Lopez.
That was Emilio's cover. Yeah.
Yep.
which is great, but it sticks out so much from the other ones just because they dropped the cream colored background or whatever. It's just the power.
Yeah, we
shot.
have a rule that I think only my covers have that specific kind of logo treatment with the title around it with the runes and everything. That's how that's the Khary cover, and then the other ones are more wide open and have do what they do.
The logo kind of moves around. Sanford's cover, the logo is on the bottom, so it's a little we have a little more.
I have the structure; those guys have the fun.
Right.
But at the same time, that's what made the Mortal Iron Hit Fist run, which I compare it to in my head for the seamless covers. Like you wanted them all because they all make a big piece of art. Like just putting them together like that. Like I like that idea behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
But okay, so Kickstarter goes live tomorrow. What time?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I'd have to look at
you should know that ahead of time.
I guess it doesn't really matter because the way Kickstarters work. I mean, I guess the question would be: are there any early birds or anything special?
There will be
6 a.m. Pacific.
6 a.m. Pacific.
Wow. Okay. So
he's right early.
He's on it. Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. Oh yeah. All right. So we will have early bird opportunities.
Okay. So that's always key, and it's always good to drum up interest as fast as you can, just to hit the algorithms right and everything like that. I love at first I wasn't sold on doing these like hardcover graphic novels of books that have already come out, but how else can you build interest? And it's hard to tell an LCS, hey, you got to buy this book that's a $35 book, and I can't guarantee anyone's even going to know about it and whether or not it's going to sit on your shelf. But you guys hit you've been doing these podcasts, you did the expo, it's going to sit on Kickstarter for 30 days or longer, and people are going to see your book over and over again when they go through those things, especially if you hit the algorithms right, and they're going to be excited. I know I'm going to be excited for whenever the book finally gets shipped out, when it comes to me or whatever, just because of...
I'll be excited to see it.
Yes. The image looks great.
Point out, it's not just like it's the first 9 issues. It's that, but we're putting so much, like the things that we're doing with this Kickstarter, the exclusives that we have going are so much more. And like, if you're even slightly interested in the world of excellence, like this has everything you can imagine, plus stuff you're not even expecting.
Okay.
Yes, we have a lot of great rewards. I think people will be super excited. A lot of cool variety. So
So I guess then even though your book is coming out, the bigger question is not about the book. Do you have cosplayers yet that are promise you when cons start they're going to be the characters? Like, are they lined up? Because I know that is such a you've hit it big when they're telling you, this is my costume. My son is going to dress like so and so. Like, do you know if there's going to be a Spencer Dale costume already designed?
I mean, all I'll say is, when I design these characters, I make them with cosplayers in mind. So like the designs are what they are, but they're designs that aren't that difficult to cosplay. I learned that very well when I was working on We Are Robin. that like if you make it easy for the cosplayers, they will reward you. And by the time that we come back to doing cons again, there are so many more characters in this book that I'm very confident we're gonna have some cool photo opportunities coming up.
Have you guys seen the response? Like, have people been commenting and you saying your letters? Like, have you hit people in the feels? I guess not just because of what you're created.
Yeah, when we one of the last cons I did was New York Comic Con last year, in the before times. And it was a great opportunity because it was the first time the entire creative team all met each other. Like, I knew Khary, but I had never met Emilio, I had never met Darren, and we got to meet, we got to have dinner together, and then more importantly, we got to sign together. We got to have two like major signings, and they were, kind of like one of the most like amazing, gratifying experiences of my entire life. Yeah. Because I've never had a signing where we just sat there and people just kept coming the entire 45 minutes. And we're just, talking to people, taking pictures, signing, telling stories. And it was really, I would just say my kind of trajectory as a writer really kind of exploded at that New York Comic Con, signing with the guys. And also there were a lot of the kind of opportunity, a lot of the books and stuff I'm doing now for other companies came out of that New York Comic Con, came out of people that I met there specifically, or people that were like, oh man, I read the first few issues of Excellence, I love it, you should pitch us stuff. So there, a lot of what I'm doing now is a byproduct of that show. And so I just really, I always have just a special feeling about that show altogether, because there was like so many amazing things happen. And I love, there's a great photo of the four of us at the Skybound booth, like I do before, after a signing. And, just like, oh, this is why I made this book. Like, this is the feeling that I was like chasing. And I've never had an experience like this in comics ever. And it is so much fun to make this book with these guys, and everyone is bringing their own kind of personal spin and their personal kind of like emotional investment to it. So it's really been a very exciting, opportunity. And I think it's really changed the way that people have definitely seen me, like, as a writer in comics because of this book. And I'm just, I just want to make it as good as I can until we're done. Leave them demanding an encore. So.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, like, first I want to thank the fans that we have, because I've been in comics since 2003. So that's, coming up on 20 years soon. And I've worked for every major company you can imagine on. I've worked on big books. I've worked on small books. And I will say the fans that we meet and the conversations that come out of this book are it's a completely different thing than I've had with anything else I've worked on. And I think at the end of the day, that's what I'm most proud of is the conversations that we have. Like, even when people don't agree with all of the decisions we make, which we go into it knowing some of these decisions are people are gonna be like, oh, we don't know if we agree with that, or, but we're here for those conversations. And at the end of the day, the conversations are what's important, that the book resonates with you on much more than a surface level. And I think that's what we're proud of, and that's what we're trying to put out, that this is a book that's different than anything else out there, and it's going to stick with you one way or another.
So I want to leave with one thing, and I'm actually got a picture of it, because I think this is the motto for your book. And please correct me and tell me I'm dumb as crap, I don't know anything, but this right here. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
so talk to me
sexy,
about that,
man. It's sexy.
Oh, I love it. I mean, so power is an illusion, excellence is real.
Yeah, excellence is real. I will have to be honest, that is the best tagline that I've ever come up with. Like, usually I'm like, my taglines are trash. Like, it's always something that I'm trying to get better at. Like, oh, how can I say this more quickly, say this better? But it was right. This one was right there for me. It was just like, I just kind of just scooped it up, and I was like, okay, I think this is going to be it. And so I was, I've been really happy to see that became kind of like, such a linchpin of how the book was kind of talked about and marketed and kind of expressed when we were putting it out. And that was, it's important to us. And it means so much. It has several meanings, which is another reason why we like it. But,
I still don't know what the hell it means. I just think it looks cool. It's a much better hashtag than just saying excellence. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. He knows what it means. He's clown.
But at the same time, it's nice to allow all the readers to interpret what they think it means.
Right.
And maybe by the end of your arcs, you'll have, okay, if I've read all 18, 24 issues or whatever it's going to be, then I have a better grasp of, okay, this is what excellence means in the world of Spencer Dales and the Aegis and all of that. And is that right? Aegis? Is that how you say it?
Aegis?
It's in the Aegis, yeah.
I was like, it's AEG.
I don't know. They told me how to say it, so I picked up on how they were saying it because everyone else does it like that. Okay, that's fine. No, that's what the book is. Like, the book is a conversation between the four of us making it, but it's also a conversation with the audience. So we're very like we're here for that. Like that's what we want. We don't want to just give you your 20 pages and then it's, and then it's over. We want to stick in there. We want to put that hook in, however we can put it in. And so we are here for the conversation, and a lot of the book is, a conversation and what you are personally bringing to the book. And we just wanted to create something that everyone could get something slightly different out of it, that you could come to the book through a different kind of door or angle and find enjoyment in it. And then if you return to it, then you'll see something else. Like I love books that, the books that I love the most, every time I read them, I'll pick up on some like little thing that, I didn't notice that first time. And, to me, that's fun. That's what I love about comics.
I know. And that's what, I'm looking forward to the hardcover because rereading the relationship between Aaron and Spencer. And like, because there's so much depth there that every time they interact again, you're like, wait, there's more depth. Okay, let me go back and start over, and there's more depth. And
something else that's cool about the hardcover is that the issue splits are a little bit different, right? So the trade is 1 through 6, but this hardcover is 1 through 9. Mm-hmm. So how the kind of note that it ends on is slightly different than. If you're, the really kind of enterprising people can kind of pick up on probably how many issues there are going to be based on, I don't know.
There's going to be 9, even though 10 came out last week. I know it's through 12 because those cover issues have been
So.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited. I'm definitely, guys, those watching Kickstarter tomorrow or whenever you watch the video, check out the Kickstarter. It's going to run. Most Kickstarters run for 30 days. This might be a longer one. I'm not sure.
I think it'll be 30 days, but we will have some early birds.
And harass your LCS. If you're not quite sure, harass your LCS into purchasing it, and then you can look at it and decide if you. But because I know some LCSs do buy Kickstarter hardcovers. I know they'll buy. And there might even be retailer packs. I'm not even sure. Well, you'll be able to see all this tomorrow on Tuesday. So, but I'm excited.
We want to plug real quick. The Kickstarter ends March 24th at noon. And go to excellenceisreal.com for all your information that you need.
And we will have retailer offers.
Say that website again.
excellenceisreal.com.
excellenceisreal.com, guys. So that is how you want to find out all this information. So very exciting. Thank you all. So
thank you.
Sure.
comicbookinvest.com. And
all right. Thank you, guys.
Peace.